Namaste, sentient being, citizen of Gotham. It is Tuesday, May 12th, 2015. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in. I hope all of you are well and safe. This is the second part to another post, and the second part from the Intercept. The first one was this one, which I posted last week or about 3 or 4 days ago. Computers Are Listening, How the NSA Converts Spoken Words into Searchable Text, which I thought was a very interesting article, and this is their follow-up. The computers are listening. Search recognition is NASA's best kept open secret. So let's get into it. As it says, second in the series, part 1 here, which I just showed you. Siri can understand what you say. Google can take dictation. Even your new smart TV is taking verbal orders. So, is there any doubt that the National Security Agency has the ability to translate spoken words into text? But precisely when the NSA does it, with which calls and how often is a well-guarded secret. It's not surprising that the NSA isn't talking about it. But oddly enough, isn't that ironic? But oddly enough, neither is anyone else. Over the years, there has been almost no public discussion of the NSA's use of automated speech recognition. One minor exception was in 1999 when a young Australian cryptographer named Julian Assange stumbled across the NSA patent that mentioned machines transcribe speech. Assange, who went on to find WikiLeaks, said at the time the patient this patent should worry people. Everyone's overseas phone calls are or may soon be taped, transcribed, and archived in bowels of an uncountable foreign spy agency. And was he right? Assange, the most comprehensive post-Snowden descriptions of the NSA surveillance programs are strangely silent when it comes to speech recognition. The report from the President Review Group on Intelligence and Communications Technology doesn't mention it, and neither does the October 2011 FISA court ruling, or the detailed report from the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board. There is some mention of speech recognition in the black budget submitted to Congress each year, but there's no clear sign that anybody on the Hill has ever really noticed. Of course not. As the Intercept reported on Tuesday, so yeah, I guess it was last week, items of the Snowden archive document the widespread use of automated speech recognition by the NSA. The strategic advantage, invasive potential, and policy implications of being able to turn spoken words into text are not trivial. Suddenly, voice conversations, historically considered ephemeral, and unsearchable, can be scanned, cataloged, and archived not perfectly, but well enough to dramatically increase the effective scope of eavesdropping. Former senior NSA executive turned whistleblower Thomas Drake, never heard of him, who's seen NSA's automated speech recognition at work, says the silence is telling. You're seeing a black hole, Drake told the Intercept. That means there's something that's really significant, You're seeing some of the fuzzy contours of this whole other program. Not technically a secret. The NSA's ability to turn voice into text, interestingly enough, is not technically a secret. And speech recognition technology has been heavily and openly funded by the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, since the early 1970s. The latest of DARPA's many public research projects is that area is the robust automatic transcription of speech program known as RATS, which focuses on noisy or degraded speech signals that are important to military intelligence. Yeah, it's always important. Everything's important to military, for our safety. Meanwhile, DARPA's intelligence world counterpart, IARPA, announced that Babel's program in 2011 with its goal of developing agile and robust speech recognition technology that can be rapidly applied to any human language in order to provide effective search capabilities for analysts to efficiently process massive amounts of real-world recorded speech. Despite openly announcing its speech-to-text program, IARPA, whatever if that's the right name, declined an interview request by the Intercept. Of course they would. Robert Litt, who is a general counsel for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, is the intelligence community chief lawyer. Here we go. Was asked about the NSA speech-to-text capabilities as a form of transparency on Capitol Hill on Friday. He took the opportunity to lash out at the Intercept's reporting, of course. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be lashing out, defame, attack, ridicule, defamate. I think that the story is a great example of what is wrong with a lot of media coverage of this. He said the story made absolutely no distinction between technical capabilities and legal authorities. Well, that's because there are none, you piece of shit liar. There are all sorts of technical capabilities that the NSA has. I'm not commenting on the existence of non-existent or any such authority. Why? Because you're a piece of shit and you're bought and sold. Fucking sellout. The question, it's just a piece of shit. The question is when are these used? When are these used? Are they used? And what are the legal authorities under which they are used? And I think that sometimes that a lot of press reporting completely ignores, including the story you wrote. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, you're so witty, Mr. Yeah. Punch him out and he'll change his attitude. Trust me. You get in his face, he'll knock the shit out of you for lying. All of a sudden, his attitude will change. It's just a bully. I can't stand bullies. Asked to explain in what ways the use of speech to text is limited, Litt repeatedly refused to even acknowledge its existence. Why? Because he's a piece of shit and he's bought and sold for a Satanist, whatever you want to call him. I'm not saying that the government isn't using these techniques. I'm not acknowledging that these techniques even exist. Oh, you're so funny. You're so witty with language, man. You're so funny. Like I said, knock out half of his teeth and see how witty he is after that. You won't hear how much of the use of speech recognition for surveillance is academia either. I don't know if they meant academically or whatever. Researchers in the field are divided between those who don't take NSA funding, and you can only speculate about what goes on over here, and those who do not take NSA funding but won't say what they know. Of course not. There's a lot of weird hush-hush that goes on, said something Raj, an associate professor of Carnegie Mellon University's Language Technology Institute, who said he does not receive NSA funding. Academics who work for the NSA must go through various clearances. They sign several papers. That's right. That's called disclosure, and you cannot release information or you will get sued, renditioned, interned, and probably murdered. They hold closed meetings that are only attended by people with clearances and people who keep their mouths shut. Sworn secrecy. Confidentiality, statement of confidentiality, and it's a lot higher than that. I've signed one of those once. But anyway, some, not for Secret Service or any government thing, just for some bullshit job. Because they don't want you talking about how much money the company makes. Retarded. Some non-NSA affiliated academics were once quite keen. Oh my God, sorry, quite keen on seeing how the NSA was faring in the face of technical challenges in the field. Steve Young, a professor of information engineering at the University of Cambridge, recalled, but unless you actually work for the NSA and you've been vetted, you're not going to get close to the real data. Yeah. What else is new? Ironically, even GCHQ, something headquarters NASA's intelligence partner in the UK, something headquarters, has complained about DARPA and NSA'S NSA secrecy. 2009's GCHQ, that's a hard thing to say, assessment of speech technology said that DARPA evaluation program with significant steer from NSA has been the main driving force behind technology improvements in the field. Unfortunately, the results of the evaluations are not put in the public domain, making reference difficult. All the secrecy has an obvious advantage for the NSA. If the NSA can keep their speech recognition capabilities secret, nobody can tell them what to do. And if nobody knows what they are doing, then nobody can tell them what to stop. Of course, isn't that a great ploy, right? Amazing. It's like all these supposed laws about what I was talking about in the NSA that they've talked about and CERN and all that. They say, oh, well, what NSA is illegal, but all these things that they're doing were never signed into law, so therefore they weren't breaking the law, so therefore they can continue to do it because it was never put into law. And a lot of these puppet scenery theatrics of where the president signs papers with 65 different pens. I never understood why they use different. For every letter they write with a different pen. It's so weird. But anyway, a lot of times they'll write, like Bush used to write little caveats at the end where he would partially sign his name, or he'd put like an asterisk and say, well, this might go in effect, or it's not, or whatever. He would have these certain phrases that put in which basically undermine the entire law, so that legally, it was all for legalese, so that they can get out or not be held accountable. And virtually all presidents do that. Bush was very well known for that. But anyway, just the puppet. And he was told to do that. It's not him making it. He was told to do that anyway. And all that legalese shit is just smoke and mirrors, just so that they can get the people saying, well, it's a law. No, it's not a law. Getting us, the commoners, plebeians, to argue over erroneous shit. Basically, that's just erroneous, superfluous banter over nothing. That's what it comes down to. All secrecy has an obvious advantage for NSA. If the NSA can keep their speech recognition capability secret, no one can tell them what to do about it. Senior Ron Wyden, Democrat, Oregon, arguably the foremost congressional critic of NSA outreach, wouldn't comment directly on the question of speech recognition, but he said through a spokesman, after 14 years of intelligence committee, I've learned that senators must be constantly on the lookout for secret interpretations of the law and advances in surveillance that the Congress isn't aware of. Well, that's what I was talking about, secret interpretations. Anyway, he added, for centuries, individual privacy was protected. In part of the limited resources of government, it simply wasn't possible for the government to secretly collect information on every single citizen without investing in its massive networks of spies and informants. But in the 21st century, mass surveillance is no longer difficult and expensive. It's increasingly cheap and easy. The only privacy protections that will matter in the future are the ones that are written into law and defended by public demand for freedom and openness. Crazy, crazy article, second part to the first one. There's like 8 links I'm going to put in. This is them showing about Google's. You can type in stuff, whatever. Network, this is just between us and the spies. The United States National Security Agency has patented new technology for monitoring millions of telephone calls. So watch out. It's not even easier. It's now even easier for authorities to eavesdrop on your conversation. This was written, wow, 99. I didn't even see that. Of course, 999, you flip that upside down, the mark of the beast. Of course, this is satanic. This wasn't just a fluke that it was published in 1999. Unbelievable. Wow. And this is a PDF, Liberty and Security in Changing World, from 2013. Of course, December. That's funny. A lot of my posts have been about 12 being the month, the number regarding the month that also Obama is going to be publicly assassinated in the satanic ritual. Anyway, reporting recommendations of President Review Group on Intelligence and Communications Technology. FISA court opinion with exemptions. FISA court ruling stricken down a national security agency program that unlawfully gathered as many as tens of thousands of emails. This is bullshit. It's not even tens. They're talking hundreds of thousands at minimum, maybe even millions of emails and other electronic communications between Americans before we shut down 2011. How could it just be there's millions of people, tens of millions of people in the United States, and they say, oh, it only did 10,000. That would be like 0.00001% of the populace. Come on. It's hundreds of thousands. Anyway, this is from the Public Library of something, oversight reports, and then a bunch of, I guess, PDFs and stuff. Privacy and Civil Liberty Oversight Board, that's what it is. So government board's going to be full of shit, but you're going to be able to read the disgusting PDFs of why they think they can do what they want to do. Black budget, fiscal year, FY fiscal year 2013, Congressional Budget Justification, National Intelligence Program, pages 360 to 364. So they have those pages right here, significantly to research. Again, classification guide for human language technology. Another PDF, Chapter 9 about systems. This is one of the links in the article I was just reading. This is DARPA. I gave a link to DARPA. And also IARPA, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if that's how. I've never even heard of them. Talking about, I guess, the same thing, but this is their homepage. You can peruse. And then lastly, SIRDCC, Speech Technology, WG Assessments of Current STT Technology. Speech Technology, WG Assessment of Current, so whatever. So you can read those and peruse them. Tons of information, a lot of links from this is the first part, mainly from the second part here. Crazy stuff. It's amazing. I wish we could change things. We can if we want to, but anyway. Be well, stay balanced, namaste.